and then government comes to parliament and says, we didn't plan for this. Let's avail money. But here is the surprising thing. State House, Office of the President, which uses, by the way, over 2 billion shillings per day. Their annual budget is exhausted in the first quarter, in 3 months. That's the reality, always. In the first 3 months, their entire 12 months budget is exhausted. Then they come back to Parliament for supplementary budget. That nonsense has got to stop. And we intend to stop it. We have extensively talked about corruption. We know that on an annual basis, we lose 10 trillion shillings per year to theft. Those are hospitals, those are schools, those are roads that are stolen on an annual basis. Our government intends to make it risky for anyone to steal taxpayers' money. I know there are people who have said, and I know folks in the Inspectorate of Government, they say our challenge is our people are not morally upright. That's why there's a lot of stealing that happens. Man is inherently evil. Look, governments elsewhere, countries elsewhere where there's not as much corruption, it's not because their people are morally upright and good. No. Government has risky to steal. You steal taxpayers' money, we lock you up. So that others speak a lesson and know you cannot touch taxpayers' money. So we don't want to always talk about corruption like these folks. You will see action. Finally, we intend to eliminate taxes on essential items like menstrual products, scholastic materials, and school data bundle. We were debating this issue with a lady. I now hear she's going to run for woman MP. She's the current youth MP, Buganda. Now I hear she wants to represent the people of Luweero as woman MP. She said, no, let's not reduce taxes on Pampers, because when we reduce taxes on Pampers, we shall be promoting homosexuality. I said, did this one even go to school? How do you reason that way? Anyway, for us, we want to practically do that so that it is accessible by our ordinary people, by the poor people whom we must be able to bolster. Here is a catch. We want to introduce a payee tax threshold of 1 million shillings. That means, for those of you that are employed in the formal sector, because currently for as long as you earn anything above 249,000, you are in the tax bracket, you must pay tax. Once we are saying no, anyone who earns below 1 million shillings, we are not going to tax that money. That is your money. So the tax threshold to be 1 million shillings. Anything below 1 million shillings, that is your money. Use it to better yourself as an individual. That works a lot better than, have been seeing all these programs. Throw money at people, PDM, Yoga, Youth Livelihood. And yes, we want to bolster our people, and you'll be seeing many of those programs where we can bolster the ordinary people as opposed to foreigners. This money we are throwing at these foreign investors, we want to put it in the local people's businesses. But we begin that by lessening the tax burden on our ordinary folks. That's something that we want to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our party spokesperson. Now, this country seems to have a lot of division. We've had governments which pity us against each other, people from regions versus the other regions. But we are one people, we are Uganda, and that's why in our third priority point, we talk about national unity. We have deliberate plan to make sure all of us live in this country united. I will invite Mr. Fred and Mr. Coach George to talk about national unity, which is part and parcel of our party, but also part of our manifesto. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, the President and everybody gathered here today. My name is George Mokoit. I am one of those presenting priority number 3 that states that we as a country must focus on consolidating our national unity. We come from a country that has a history of war. If you're very much aware, every part of this country, including Central, had at least 1 or 3 rebel groups. While all these rebel groups existed, they did not fight an individual. They were all fighting for leadership for everybody in this country. We have consumed fabricated history and distorted lies in a way that they tell us it is NRA that brought peace to the country. It is a lie. There were more than NRA groups that were fighting for peace. They simply lied the other varying parties to come together and drop their guns, gave their leaders offices like General Ali and others. Even us in Teso, we have them. They gave them positions so that they can tell their followers to stop. After they stopped, they were never compensated, they were never empowered, they were not ravished in poverty. And that was done so that they can consolidate power in one person whom we all know. And they told us, they gave us peace. They simply silenced guns. Other regions, I want to give an example of Teso. Teso, with the war that we went through, we lost our backbone economy, which was the cattle economy. We expected that when a government that is concerned of its own people takes over, the first thing they were supposed to do is to make sure that we, the people of Teso, are sat down and give an opportunity to forgive one another, reflect on their future, and consult their efforts in developing the area while government is supporting them. As the National Unity Platform, this is our commitment and promise. We cannot arrive at a consolidated country peacefully without truth-telling. So as a government, we commit to establish a truth, reconciliation, and a justice desk. And here we are demanding that as a country, can we come together? If you know you are responsible for having committed an atrocity, come forth and tell us what happened, not the lies. Ugandans value forgiveness. Ugandans value unity. We assume that somebody cannot forgive you unless you start by telling the truth. So we are saying as a government, first and foremost, we want to put this in place so that we track all the sources and the causes of why we went into war and therefore forge a way forward. Number two, as a government, we are saying, can we put in place at least a rehabilitation program? One beginning with psychotherapy rehabilitation. Because we cannot be able to think straight when all of us are suffering from post-trauma disorder syndrome. The syndrome is caused by direct face of traumatic events like war. That is the reason as to why they will never arrest an NUP member peacefully. They want to beat them up, bring the tortured one so that you can see, so that psychologically you suffer PTSD altogether. They want to make sure, because PST is transferable through your gene. For us in Teso, people fear to face government because our parents transfer the gene of fear and trauma to us genetically. So we are saying as a government, we are putting in place a program to see how best we can de-escalate trauma in the mind of our people. I thank you. I give Jogo the chance.
Mr. Koi, we really come from war-torn areas because the energy you put on the mic, you just know these are people from war-torn areas. Because you have been crying for long, now you have the energy. I hope I'm not going to be also another one. Dear President and comrades present, my name is Jacob Ray, aspiring for MP for Kidu Municipality. When I was contacted to come and present on how reparations on war-torn areas can be done in the new government, I asked myself, how am I going to dress? Should I dress like a person coming from a war-ravaged area? Or should I dress like a person of a new Uganda? And I decided to dress like a person of a new Uganda. Because in the new Uganda, you don't need to look like your problem. In a new Uganda, no one should look at you and say, look at that Bakoko. I learned this vocabulary because of teaching in Kampala for 6 years. comrades, when I was coming, our bus stopped on the way and a group of people putting on round hats and holding sticks at the bus. If you were supposed to be there and listen to the whispers of people in the bus saying, they are there, they are passing. Yes, those are the bananas who came to steal our land. Those are the ones. I looked at myself. Really? In a new Uganda? We still look at somebody's dressing and we believe we can judge them because of the way we look. This is going to change in a new Uganda because of the promises that I'm going to enumerate now. One, we are going to end sectarianism and tribalism completely in Uganda. We are going to make sure that you are judged by the level of your brain, your competence. This issue of technical no should stop, but we should go back to technical no how. You still remember that in your primary? Technical no how. We used to cram that. But these days it has changed. You need to know a certain language. No wonder a certain general called MK said he's going to teach our comrades a certain language that I don't even want to mention, because he is just weaponizing innocent people who have nothing to do with their government. That is a family rule. To conclude, I want to say we are going to have equal pay for equal work. Teachers are striking. I want to tell you, in Central here, you are lucky. From Monday to Friday, you get children still going to school. Why? Because their parents can pay school fees. From my village, children have not seen teachers for close to 25 days now. And teachers, the leaders of these teachers are moving around saying we are talking with government. Talking with government? Up to when? Elections are coming. Why don't they use this time for election to pay them if possible? So I'm sending a one to fellow teachers in Uganda. If there has never been a time you want to vote Museveni out, this is the time, because you have not been paid.
Wow.
Let me talk about national unity. We are going to organize national unity festivals and social cohesion functions, where if we are going to dance at the headquarters here, we are going to see Imbalo, we are going to see Laraka Raka, we are going to see Baksimba, we are going to see Otole, we are going to see Ajosi from Peso, we are going to bring the Karamojans to jump here, we are going to have all kinds of dance. So because it is called national. Thank you so much. To conclude, we are going to empower the existing cultural traditional institution. Comrades, you realize what happened to the king of Rwenzururu, King Wesley Mumbere, who was punished by the government for close to 6 years. He never stepped on his soil because he was telling the truth. In the new Uganda, traditional institutions are going to have their autonomy. Traditional institutions are going to be empowered, and this will work throughout the country. They are not going to be used simply to support the government in power, but to tell the truth to power. Thank you so much, comrades. After Matek, Luakme Choli, Lango, Karamojong, West Nile. Machali National Unity Platform, no. Watika wajuni gamete manyen papati enini, obenero ni apora matie Uganda, makanga manyan kole kinani umebo, ka choli kinani chol, ka Karamojong kinani komechol, pe Uganda. Igamente manyen pa National Unity Platform, wabenero ni lufonye kichulu gimabe, wako fonyi lutino. In Baganda we say Abana Basome, right? Children are going to go to school. Thank you so much. I continue. Go on. Thank you so much. Hey, my transport has started coming to go back to Kidgum.
Thank you so much. When you go back, tell them we love them so much too. That said, before we have the next priority area discussed, our alumni from the School of Leadership are preparing a skit for us. So after the next presentation, let's prepare our minds to welcome them to present their skit. Having said that, I think the discussion around teachers not teaching and the poor quality education takes us to our next priority area, which is access to quality public services. And the emphasis there is quality. So I will welcome Dr. Judith Nalukwago and our very own Dr. Numbers doctors to come and present on quality public services. Thank you.
People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
And everywhere.
NUP.
Even here. In the new Uganda. Mr. President, the Secretary General, the Leader of Opposition, all leaders present, and the general public of Uganda, good afternoon to you all. My name is Dr. Sharon Nambasa, and I'll be presenting with Dr. Judith Nalukwago on priority number 4. And for priority number 4, we are saying that as the National Unity Platform, one of the things that we are going to put emphasis on is access to quality public services. When we talk about public services, we are talking health, we are talking education, we are talking clean water, we are talking transport, we are talking infrastructure. When we look at our health system at the moment, you'll find that out of all the districts in Uganda, about 82 districts lack a general public hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that out of 2,100 plus sub-counties in this country, over 1,696 lack a health center for. If we have all those districts that do not have health centers, where are our people going to go when they fall sick? Recently, we saw Chris Barremusi fall sick in his own constituency, but there wasn't a single hospital that could attend to him. He had to send for a helicopter to come and airlift him from his constituency, from the people that he represents, to be treated in a different districts where they also have their own MP. But I ask you Ugandans, how many of you have a contact that you can call for you to get a helicopter to airlift you from wherever you are? I think out of all of us here, it could only be Mr. President, but I'm not sure. I think he says he also can't get a helicopter. So how many people are dying on a daily because they don't have access to good health care? When we speak about good health care, people believe that we are only speaking because we are privileged. I speak from the profession because I am one of them. I have been to Chirudu Dialysis Center, but I tell you that people fight for beds for them to be able to get dialysis. But I saw a photo of a certain country where a dog was getting dialysis. Are our lives less important compared to the dogs that the whites own? We have seen pictures of babies at Kawempe Regional Referral Hospitals in these plastic chairs where we're seated today. Ladies and gentlemen, we lose over 100 mothers on a daily. It's sickening that as I hold this microphone, in this very minute that I'm speaking, there is a woman out there that is bleeding to death because there is no tranexamic acid, because they couldn't get oxygen. Sorry, I'm going very far. Let me go to education, ladies and gentlemen. You see, in Uganda, over 1 million children that enroll in primary 1, only about 300,000 make it to primary 7. That is only about how many? 30%? Do you see what I'm saying? Where are these children going that are dropping out? Who is thinking about those very children? They are out there getting pregnant if they're ladies, or if it is a gentleman, he's now going into stealing. And these children are giving birth not to children, but to more poverty, because in the first reason they dropped out, it was because of poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, we find that there are districts, for example, in a park, where the gentleman with the big heart claims to get 100%, but there is no single secondary school. Are you hearing me? Am I communicating, ladies and gentlemen? As we go ahead, we find that in the education sector, a single pupil is only allocated 20,000 for school fees in an entire year, while we see the Speaker's office getting billions for donations. We see so many spending a lot of money, in different things. They're giving out, they're dashing out money, but your child is allocated only 20,000 for them to be able to study for an entire year. I don't know what for. Ladies and gentlemen, when we speak about clean water, I've been to districts where people share water sources with cows. We find that cows are even getting some clean water, but there are districts where they do not get clean water. Out of the 48 million Ugandans here, we find that about 38 million lack access to clean water and to toilets. Where are they putting their stool? Where are they defecating, ladies and gentlemen? There are those little errors that we find where we pass. We find there is a heap because they don't have access to clean water, and it trickles down to the health system. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Unity Platform promises to offer access to good roads. We find that out of the 1,500, only about 3.9% of the total network in Uganda. But even out of that 3.9%, 20% is in good conditions. We have seen the roads that you use. We did the pothole exhibition. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw that we have lakes in the middle of roads. When we speak about our railway system, we don't even have a gauged railway system. That out of the entire railway system, only about 321 kilometers are operational. And from where we saw videos of our own train moving backwards, and everyone was saying, where is it going? But we know that in developed countries, trains are the quickest and easiest means of transport that they actually use. Trains can improve our road transport. Trains can be used to carry out trade from region to region, but that is not what we see in the current Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, when we study about the history of Africa, Uganda, when we constructed Entebbe International Airport, it was the largest international airport in East Africa. And that was before Mr. Museveni took over power. He takes over power 40 years down the road, and the Entebbe International Airport is the only airport that we have. Yet it was the biggest in East Africa. We now admire Kenya, we admire Tanzania. But I mean, what are they doing? I had forgotten to tell you that when Magufuli took over power, he paved over 5,000 roads in 5 years. 5,000 kilometers of roads in 5 years. And Mr. Museveni has done that in 40 years. What more evidence do you need for you to say that it is now for us to have a new and better Uganda? People power. Dr. Nalukwago Judith, nzize kubabuulira mu Luganda so that bajjajja bange ab'e Masaka Bakiggundu bategeere n'ab'e Mawokota ab'emikono muliyo musiibye mutenamwe mulina okutegeera. Bannange Dr. Shamima annyonnyodde mu Luzungu naye katuddeko mu Luganda. Ngenda kwanguyizaako kubanga obudde butukutte. Public service. Mu Uganda population yaffe eri miliyoni 48. Nga tugenze maaso tuprojectinze mu mwaka 2026 population ya Uganda egenda efuuke miliyoni 16. Ne kwezo miliyoni 16 abasinga kwabo ebitundu 7 bagenda kubeera bakozi. Kitegeeza Uganda oba government erina okwetegekera ekiseera ekyo. Bwe tukyetegekera tetugenda kudevelopinga. China yetegekera ekiseera ekyo. Singapore yakyetegekera ndowooza mulaba gye bali. So nga ntandika mu public service tulinayo ebyobulamu, ebyenjigiriza, amaanyi g'amasannyalaze, amazzi amayonjo. Tulinayo enguudo, tulinayo eggaali z'omukka, tulinayo ebisaawo by'ennyonyi. Tugamba tuliwa nga Uganda biseera bino. Mu Uganda tulinayo districts 82 ezitalina malwaliro. Ate nga tulina ne sub-counties tezirina health center 3s. Bannange health center 3s watandikira obujjanjabi mu system ya health mu Uganda. Naye ebyalo oba sub-counties amagombolola 1,600 tegalina health center 3s. Kamba buliyo ka story twawaddeyo nga tugenda nga tuva Emityana tugenda Ekyankwanzi ku campaign ya president. Netusanga health center 3 nesalawo okukikozesa okweyamba. Unfortunately yabadde abandoned. Temuli basawo n'abalwadde bali awo tebalina abakolako. Bwe nageze mu toilet okumanya zibadde abandoned. Nasanze ennumba Mr. President ennumba nezinnuma. Ennaku 3 mbadde siri campaign kubanga mbadde ngezaako okuwona. Naye ebyo bye twagala okukolako nti tewali health center 3 mu government ya His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ejja kubeera abandoned.
Mwami Museveni alina emmotoka ezimutambuza 6. si nkaaga wabula 6. Naye mu Uganda yonna tulina ambulances 178 bannayuganda. Lwaki gavumenti eno tesobolako? Byebyo twagala okukyusa. Nga tugendako mu bya enjigiriza. Ndi musanyufu nti nno nze nzaaliddwa basomesa era nasomerako mu ssomero lya UPE, so mmanyi ekiriyo ate nga bazadde bange bakolanga lesson plans nga nange ndaba. Kirabika kyeva bazaala omuwala omugezi. Naye tugende mu maaso. Mu byenjigiriza omwana oba buli mwana mu Uganda bamuwa $2,000 buli mwaka. $2,000 buli mwaka tisobola kukola ki bannayuganda? $2,000 tekisobola kugula na kalaamu oba kugula peeni mu mwaka oba mu ttaamu egi buli mwana n'asobola okusoma. Mu gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi tugenda kwongeza funding mu UPE schools. Ekirala ekisinga obukulu bano abaana bagenda ku ssomero bambi ne bamala essaawa 8 nga tebalina kye balidde. Tetugenda kukkiriza ebyo mu gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi. Mu gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi buli mwana ajja kufuna emiliyoni at least emu buli lunaku basobole okonsentratinga mu kusoma kwabwe. Ekirala abasomesa beekalakaasa. Ekisooka tebamala kubanga bw'otunuulira staffing rate y'amasomero mu Uganda gali ku 34%. N'obutamala abasomesa era nze maama wange yasomesanga mu ssomero lya gavumenti naye ng'asomesa subjects 3. Lwaki omusomesa omu bamubaddeninga okusomesa subjects 3? Buli subject erina okubeera n'omusomesa. N'ekirala abasomesa tebabasasudde bulungi. Kyokka beekalakaasa mu Uganda empya tewajja kubeerawo kwekalakaasa kuba wajja kubeera ne ssente ezimala era tujja basasula bulungi. Bwe tugenda ku ky'amazzi baganda bange abasinga mulwala typhoid temumanyi bino ebintu gye bika kubanga bannayuganda abasinga tebalina mazzi mayonjo kyokka nga tulina agayanja ga Nalubaale tulina Kyoga tulina tubiina mu Uganda naye ensinga zi Saudi Arabia ezitalina nnyanja zirina amazzi amalungi ageyagaza naye wano mu Uganda tetugalina lwaki tubeera mu gavumenti bwetyo. Ne tugenda ku amasomero ebitundu 68 ku 100 tebirina mazzi. Amalwaliro ebitundu 44 ku 100 tebirina mazzi. Lwaki eddwaliro libeerawo nga terina mazzi? Bwe tugenda ku bya enguudo Dr. Shamimba agambye nti tulina network y'emitwalo 15 kilometers 600 zokka zenkole ate nga NRM yakakolako kilometers 4,000. Imagine emyaka 4 kitegeeza buli mwaka bakola kilomita 10. Incompetence of this government. Tetugenda jjikiriza mu gavumenti empya oba mu Uganda empya. Nga tugenda maaso nti railway abasinga ddala bazadde baffe basingako obukulu bazadde bamwe batambuliranga mu gaali y'omukka naye kati nze emyaka gyange okulaba ku gaali y'omukka nina genda bweru wa Uganda tekigenda kubeera mu gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi. Ebyo byonna tugenda bituusa mufune gaali y'omukka ng'osobola okubeera wano e Kampala ebalayo omupiira mu University ng'olinya high speed training ekitwala ddakiika 3 watuusedde walabye omupiira wakomyewo. Bye Uganda empya ne tubasuubiza. Ekirala era ebidiridde okusemba amasanyalaze n'amazzi. Amasanyalaze ga bbeeyi. Uniti y'amasanyalaze ya siringi 10. Ngenda mu saluni okunsiba enviiri okunnaaza bunaaza omuviiri omukyala wa saluni n'agamba maama amasanyalaze ga bbeeyi nange nina okugjako ssente nnyingi naye nga lwaki mbeera nsiba enviiri za ssente nnyingi nga lwaki gavumenti ya Kyagulanyi tejja uniti y'amasanyalaze ku siringi 10 n'ebiteeka ku siringi 5. Ekidomola ky'amazzi tugenda kukijja ku nnusu 20 tukiteeke ku nnusu 10. Bannayuganda mugenda kunywa Uganda empya. Ate nga n'okolektinga amazzi n'amasanyalaze bigenda kubeera bya bwereere gavumenti egenda gikolako. Ekisinga obukulu airport. Mukimanyi loopu waffe ng'akyakulira ku ssase yavaayo n'abalaga nti mwezo waliyo abakyala bataasoma ne baweja emirimu. Abataasoma bonna tugenda bagobayo kale baasoma omugigi naye biri ebitabo bye twogerako bonna bataasoma tugenda bagobayo tuteekeyo abantu abasobola okumanaginga air transport yaffe so that buli region wabeereyo airport nga munnayuganda asobola okubuuka n'avaano nga bwekiga e Kenya ababaddeko e Kenya mukimanyi abantu bavuga okuva e Mombasa ne bagenda e Nairobi ate low cost bye twagala mu Uganda empya. Bannayuganda nga mmaliriza mukimanyi tubyogeddeko ssente za health zigenda kwongezebwa tugenda kwongeza ssente funding mu government hospitals ate n'abaana baffe bajja kulyanga emmere ey'obwerere buli lunaku. Neanzisa nnyo, people power. Our power.
Thank you so much, Dr. Judith. In conclusion, here is what the new Uganda promises. With the National Unity Platform, we are saying that our health centers are going to be increased. We are going to increase funding in the healthcare system to about 25 or even more, considering what was promised in the Abuja Declaration that said if the health system must improve, at least 16% of the national budget must be dedicated to the health system. We are going to recruit doctors, but our teachers do not have enough salary. We are saying that connection to the national grid for electricity is going to be free of charge. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not have to buy electricity poles anymore. You do not have to pay for the wires to have electricity in your homes. We are going to remove value-added tax on electricity bills. We are going to make sure that businesses and domestic users of electricity, where SMEs fall, do not have to pay VAT. Ladies and gentlemen, that connects all the 4 regions in Uganda. Why should it take you 8 hours, 12 hours to come from here to Yumbe, yet you can use a train and get there in 4 hours? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to make sure that we have regional, international airports. These are the airports that you see. We are going to put down and we lift very new, good-looking international airports. And there is no reason why you'll have to come from Ntungamo to Entebbe to board a plane to Rwanda. You understand? That is what we are saying. We are saying that in the new Uganda, you will not have to struggle for anything. We shall make sure that whatever it is that you need as a public service is available to you. People power. Our power. Kunga Uganda Kunga. Thank you so much.
From what you've heard, you want more of the same or you want change? You already have a clear picture of what is going to be in the new Uganda. And we are not just saying we are going to do these things, we have people who are going to do these things. I'm sure you're confident that these young ladies are ready at the superstar who is going to perform for us. Thank you so much. DJ.
Yeah.
naye bisagenda nga sirabye mukulembeze wange naye mukulembeze wange nkwagala nnyo era nsaba luno olutabaluluzeemu oluwangule bulungi eyanziza nnyo baddala omukulembeze yansuubiza haga mukirabye haga teyaŋŋamba agireese eyanziza nnyo Mr. President.
Webale nnyo mu Uganda empeera ejja kweyagala nnyo. Thank you so much for that. We are going to have one more presentation and then we'll have the skit. At this point, many of you have been asking, because in our manifesto we have told you we are going to create 10 million jobs, and many of you have been saying, how is that possible? I think most of you have gotten used to governments which don't create jobs. I'm going to welcome Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi to present on the issue of unemployment and how we are going to create jobs for you. Thank you so much.
People power, our power, NUP, President Kantwaleyo Mukisogwenjawulo okukulisaayo mu Greater Mulende ne Greater Luweero. Bane mumukuliseeyo kyabadde kyakabi yakikoze. One, let me start with a simple philosophy in managing an economy. It is akin to going to war. Because quite often, after all this struggle we are in to remove a dictator, and our president, after swearing in, he will be just occupying momentarily a certain field stop. But it will also define how far the climb has been and how steep the next journey to end unemployment, to create a better life, to give our people better opportunities. It will just be a beginning of a major struggle. Now, like any other war, developing an economy entails taking over what we call commanding heights. Commanding heights of an economy starts with, I'll only mention two that are very relevant. An enlightened elite class is aware they must live simple, so that their people must simply live. They do every sacrifice. They have a command of duty, responsibility, commitment, sacrifice, patriotism, and courage, a skilled healthy working human resource, for which people have talked about health and education. Another commanding height is peace. When I talk about peace, I'm speaking about durable, predictable, peace that we take for granted, not an absence of war and gunshots. Once you have that peace and stability, then you have occupied another commanding height. But in the role of that peace is the role of the military, for which most militaries in Africa fail African presidents. The military complex, other than waging war, the president that what you are doing because of the future of our country. Now, our military think all they do is to consolidate and the presidency. Another commanding height, of course, is finance and banking, which I'll leave. But my role was to demonstrate to you that you can create 10 million new jobs. I think that is an understatement. In Tanzania here, they have demonstrated, starting with the Magufuli, that in 5 years you can transform a country. The young man, the general, the friend of the president, who Traore, has demonstrated that in 3 years just, you can transform a country. We are sure with the National Unity Platform, with the discipline of the National Unity Platform, it will take us 2 to 3 years to put Uganda right and begin a new course. Not just to give you peace and stability, to give this country a heritage of an ever-improving destiny. I'm speaking about a heritage. Countries change forever. Good leaders don't change countries momentarily during their regime. They give them a basis of an ever better life for their citizens. And it is possible, starting with Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and the National Unity Platform. Will it be reinventing the wheel? No. Nations start from somewhere. America was given an opportunity by one man called George Washington. So was India. China was given an opportunity by Chairman Mao and others. Singapore by Lee Kuan Yew, and so many other countries. So I have no doubt, and I've worked with our president closely. I have no doubt he will deliver Uganda the promised land. So be out there, and all you have to do is to go out 4 months from now, 2 months, and vote. Now, this is what we are going to do to create jobs. One, we are going to leverage tourism. Tourism has the potential to create new jobs in Uganda. And let me speak about tourism. Tourism today does not mean the presence of crocodile and lions. For you to have a tourist destination, you must improve all the things the Salims have talked about. Infrastructure, have peace, have better roads, have communication, have better hotels. Once you do that, tourists will simply come, even without branding. So you don't need to. There must be roads without tanks and tear gas. There must be respect for human rights. Every time you put Edimutwe in a basement, you are discouraging 1,000 and hundreds of thousands tourists. No one wants to come to a country where people are put in a basement. It can't. Every time you see jam on Kampala Road, you are discouraging tourists. So, today people go to Dubai. Are there dinosaurs in Dubai? Are there lions in Dubai? Are there valleys in Dubai? Are there rivers in Dubai? It's because they have done a first-class infrastructure. That's what our government will do. The second thing we shall do to leverage is to create an industrial sector that can create jobs. An industrial sector that can create jobs will be the one that has a backward and forward linkage. Backward linkage is an industrial base that will be built on our comparative advantage, which is agriculture. And when you build an industry on agriculture, two, we are now getting a new comparative advantage. We are one of the richest nations in mineral potential in the world. From oil to uranium to gold to tea to everything you need in Uganda we have. How very fast shall actually the thing in the other sector of the economy is if we are developed our industrial sector, our mineral sector faster, we will never have needed to borrow. Therefore, we are going to fast track a huge industrial complex based on our mineral resources, on our agricultural resources, on our fish industry, on everything we have, and create hundreds and millions of jobs for our people. We're also going to do where our presidents come from. He has been speaking about the 4 A's. Okay, the arts, the academics, so we are going to do a sports and the arts industry that will deliver Uganda. We can tell you today, A 1 billionaire that has joined the billionaire rank this week by Forbes magazine is not an industrialist. He's a one man called Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a footballer. How many Cristiano Ronaldos can we have in Uganda? You see a young man like Okello, Alan Okello. Had he been given opportunities years back, that one would be a billionaire in the making. We have artists that are doing so well. We've just seen a young girl here performing, so perfect. In another world, this younger girl instantly will be a millionaire in terms of millions of what? Dollars. They'll not be performing in Italy. No. And there you need a right law, corporate law. You need a law that protects artists. You need a law that ensures that they earn from their talent. And that law, Mr. President, in the next 200 days of our parliament, we will put that law in place. So once you do those best things, then other things simply fall in. So our promise for a new Uganda is a Uganda that will ensure you have a heritage of prosperity, not for now, not for our children, it will be for infinity and beyond. And with those few words, I thank you. I am requested to translate what I've talked about to Uganda briefly. Ensi yonna national platform bwemala okuwangula egenda ku lutabaalo olwokubiri. Olutabaalo olwokubiri bwe lw'okukyusa obulamu bw'abannansi. Okubajja mu mbeera embi gye mukooye tugende mu mbeera ki ey'okwesiima. Tetubagamba tulwanirira mu nsi muno mubeere baavu. No! Ekitulwanyisa bannayuganda mubeere baki bagagga nga muli mu bulamu obukola ki obwesiimisa. Temusula na swegi. Wano mu Uganda abantu basula n'ennyonyi. Wano mu Uganda abantu basula n'ente. Abantu mu Uganda basula wamu n'embuzi nga temuli mu nnyumba za nsiisira. Ng'obudde bwe buziba tekitegeeza kizikiza, kitegeeza ekitangaala obukulembeze obulungi obulala bwe bukikuwadde. Ng'abantu abagala okuba obulungi muli buki bulungi. N'olwekyo olutalo lwe tuliko lwakuba buki bulungi. Kubanga tukooye embeera ki eyo kubifuna wano wammanga tulina obikola. One, wateekwa okuvaayo abakulembeze abaagala eggwanga lyabwe nga ddala mweyo ggwanga. Ekyo kitegeeza si bakulembeze bannabyabufuzi bokka, nammwe mwenna bagayi olikaawo manyi oli community development officer, oli nurse, oli headmaster, working a permanent secretary in our government, a corrupt one, pack your bags nga tetunasimbula. Olumala okulaga bwekyo olyanti olumujini y'obuli corrupt, please just run away. Kyagulanyi atuuse kiboko ya uchafu. Kiboko ya uchi. Kiboko ya uchi. Kiboko ya uchi. N'olwo gwe tuleeta kiboko ya uchi. Buli alimu tate kobeere speaker ojja kgenda. Kobeere amekamanda ojja kgenda. Kobeere nga kwesandisasooka weeba permanent secretary simawati abali mu office eyo musibe ttaayi tubaviira ku nguudo tubawa emmotoka empya tubasasulira insurance. Please obuvunaanyizibwa bwammwe bugenda kubakolera ggwanga lyaffe n'abantu baffe. Ne political class will be required to do that. Political class itegeeza buli omu okuva ku president, genda ku kansala, genda ku w'omuluka, genda ku gwe kaada futu soja. Tokola ba futu soja, genda mu gavumenti ng'osuubira tinaawe olifuna omukisa okubba essente z'eggwanga. Ekitutwala mu kino kweswalinga nti abaana baffe n'ensi yaffe tubawa ekyobusika ekyaleero ekyenkya ekirivaawo abadani abada tugende mu nsi ey'essanyu okwesiima okuba obulungi okweyagala okufa nga tetugenda lwaki twazaalibwa n'abaana n'otuga okwegomba okufa. Njabawa story bantwala ebikira maximum prison mu bya popular resistance nesangayo omwana omuto baali bwe young boys ne babuze lwaki babakutte ne baŋŋamba wano eruzira wotulese muwanga wotusanze twesimika okuba wano gana okuba ebweru ne mbabuuza lwaki ne baŋŋamba tiwano mukomera tuli aswadi ekyeggulu kyakawunga naye weekiri n'olwekyo ekkomera we nabasanga they were happy to be in prison because they would be assured of supper and dinner and shelter. That's not the Uganda we want. Omwana omuto ajja preferring okusigala mu kkomera gana okubeera ebuki ebweru kubanga eri mu kkomera afuna ekyeggulo oba ekyemiki ekyemisana. N'olwekyo tugenda kutumbula ebyobulambuzi nga tutandikira ddala okulaba nti buli kimu ekikola obulambuzi tukiteekamu ssente ezeetaagisa tusobole okuleeta abalambuzi baleete ssente bazireke wano nga ebaba mu Uganda tebeerabikira tiyagasi tebeerabikira kukwati batwalibwa mu kkomera tebajja kulwa mu infrastructure. Actually in Malaysia waliyo tusasula nga bana bafune emmotoka za poliisi zitambuza balupe bagenda mu ofiisi kunyaga ssente zaffe. No, those pickups will be busy tuziwe tuwalisi zibanguye okutuuka we tubagirako ki lupiya. Ekyo kinaaba kibi. Tugenda kuzimba amakolero agannamaddala. Amakolero gaffe gagenda kukola kyebagamba kusinziira ku maanyi n'ebyobugagga Katonda byakolaki byatuwa. Ni Uganda bannange buli kimu tukiina. Mbabule tetulina okubeera wano tewali yazze leero nga gavumenti oba owegombola yamuwadde emmere waliwa wano waliwo eyazze ng'omwezi guno yafunayo akawunga ka gavumenti nga yafunayo omucere gwa gavumenti. Nolwekyo ensi esobola okweriisa olubuto tekitwala myaka 3 ena kugitereeza. Sebo President, myaka 3 bwegiti mujja kubeera mu ggwanga eddala. Sino lyemukoze eki lyemubaddemu nga nebyafuna weebiki bitangaavu. Kokola ekyo tugenda kukwata ebyobugagga mu ttaka ku nnyanja. Tugenda kuzimba amakolero nga gasobola okuliikiriza oba galiikirizibwa obuki obulimi n'okwongera ssente mu by'obulimi. Tugenda kutumbula ebitone. Tugenda okutumbula ebitone by'abantu bonna mu Uganda asobola okudduka bwe kanya okugulunyweza, asobola okuba ebikonde naawe nyweza ebikonde, asobola okuyimba bambi teekamu amaanyi, asobola buli kyosobola okukola kiteekemu amaanyi. Anti Kyagulanyi ajja. Abantu bwekka bateetaaga Kyagulanyi namweka mbabuulire mwe ababbi abagayaavu abatukaleti ku mirimu ono gwe tuleese kibooko ya bucaafu. Kibooko ya buki ya bucaafu. National Unity Platform is a train for disciplining Ugandans and delivering for a better country. I thank you. God bless.
Deputy President, wawulidde ebigenda okubeera mu Uganda empya afunye akakisa okubeera wano gali otegeeze buli omu kyowulidde wano leero. Era abantu mu Baganda bali those who have given up empapula bazikubeko enfuufu. Uganda empya empapula ezo zigenda kuba za mugaso. Kati buli omu azze wano kyowulidde tegeezaako munno asobola okutegeera ekitulindiridde Uganda empya. Having said that, mujja kutuukiriza tuweeko omukisa alumni ba School of Leadership baje baperforminge wano skit. People power! Our power! People power! NUP! And everywhere! Ladies and gentlemen! Basobole bajja bamukkirize mbategeeze nti yebera official campaigners aba flag bearers NUP basegede bulungi kakati listen very carefully to the good news, ladies and gentlemen.
To the oppressed, to the mothers who put bed on hospital floors, to the parents whose children have been seated at home for close to a month. This is the good news. In less than 2 to 3 months, we are entering a new Uganda. People power!
Our power! People power!
Everywhere!
People power! Our power! People! Kunga! Kunga! NUP Kunga! Kunga is existence! Apeche.
Oyocha.
Awa.
Akabonero ki?
Ku president ku MP tulondanga to.
Abe, awobo oyocha.
Your system was sham.
No!
How do you need such an
This gentleman here. Uliriza, oyocha. In fact, oyocheza, osiriziza. This guy here, we know him. He competed for the party card. He was not given that chance. And then he decided to run independently.
But I've been in the party for so long. Yes. The party. I've been the president everywhere. But now you call it.
My friend, we had trust in you. We trusted you. You know that party. No, shame definitely. Power.
And you be
Everywhere.
everywhere.
The flag bearer is here.
Hello, comrades.
Yes.
My name is Honorable Gologolo. And I am the flag bearer of Kalvure East Constituency.
Oh, good.
I am here to tell you about my manifesto.
Before you get the manifesto, go do.
My first thing I'm going to do as Honorable Gologolo is to make sure I supply sugar. I'm going to make sure I supply salt. Everybody will have salt in their homes. I am the rightful honorable, and I'm giving you sugar and salt.
Honorable.
Listen. I'm going to make sure I give you rice. Now,
Honorable, what is that?
that is my beautiful manifesto.
I see. I don't know. Relax.
Yes.
You are the flag bearer of NUP.
Yes.
My friend, NUP has a very strong manifesto.
Are you
You
sure?
don't have to feed it around looking for what to say to tell people. Just don't worry.
Our manifesto has priorities. Priority number 1, restore freedom, constitutionalism, rule of law, and our party, everything.
Read manifesto.
I want to tell you, our manifesto has priorities. Priorities number 2. We want to end corruption and wasteful expenditure. We're going to have a lean and efficient government. MPs twagala abiri, ministers twagala abiri, MPs twagala kinana, district twagala zikebeza. Honorable. Yes. We are going to have in a new Uganda, we are going to consolidate national unity. We are going to rebuild communities and eliminate sectarianism. Uganda manifesto. Listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the new Uganda that we the citizens of this beloved our country are claiming for now.
Yes.
National Unity Platform Manifesto guarantees equal access to quality public services. Ladies and gentlemen, education, healthcare, energy, and public infrastructure. Ladies and gentlemen, National Unity Platform Manifesto got you in this our country that we are suffering with high rate of unemployment and poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nup Manifesto is going to create 10 million new jobs in this our country. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Unity Platform Manifesto got you all in this our country. Children that suffer with hunger in schools. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Unity Platform Manifesto is going to establish a public school feeding program to transform agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, what a manifesto.
Why? Put your priorities down.
put the priority. Comrades, yes, honorables, we still have much more. Not only the already outlined priorities of the manifesto, but our mighty party is also committed to tackle all issues on land with immediate effect. It will stop land grabbing, it will restore stolen land to victimized individuals, as well as guarantee to secure land rights. All good news for you, comrades. As reflected to the priority 8 of our manifesto, our NUP as a party will directly promote decentralization at all levels, both at local and regional government. But my honorables, my comrades, our mighty party, the NUP, is going to strengthen the foreign policy, positioning the diaspora as an asset, as well as strengthen our competition at global level in the order to build and develop our country in the new Uganda.
And college.
Now, gentlemen, you made a very big mistake. We had trust in you. But since you decided to stand against the flag bearer, first of all, you violated all the party values. Think about the revolutionary discipline, where you had to accept the results. No, you are no longer trusted. You lost the trustworthiness. You are no longer reliable, and you lost the integrity.
Talks about the obligation of you as a member of the party, that you have the obligation to abide and protect our party constitution. And Article 5(5)(c) also tells you that if anyone stands against the party flag bearer, then and then you cease to be a member of National Unity Party.
Your candidate is no longer a member. That's what you are moving. Yes. We can
President Ngobi atukomera tusibe ebugaito asikutikinga engaito engaito lyowenga toso.
We have foreigners here.
My also committed to comrades.
Yeah.
We continually listen to you, and it comes to my concern that indeed Honorable His Excellency Robert Chagulanyi Ssentamu is the president of Uganda. Lastly, I want to categorically state that according to your manifesto, you do not have to be an elite to work for the people or to execute duties for the people. NUP manifesto is the only way to go.
They arrested him from no man's land, took his money, about 300 million, and then now brought him up to the police force somewhere in Ethiopia. They accused him of finding rebels fighting the Ugandan government, and after a while, they released him. They set him free on police bond. But the real thing that they wanted, the reason why they arrested him was to take the money and the property. So in as much as they set him free, they held on to the cash, and of course they held on to the cash because formally under the law, they had not taken the money. He went and complained to Professional Standards Unit, and eventually the charges against him of fighting the regime were found bogus, and they were dismissed. After some time, this whole ordeal traumatized him so much. He became a drug addict. When I say drugs, I really mean medical drugs. So he started abusing drugs, and they took him to the Tarika hospital. But after some time, he escaped from the hospital and went back to his home in the constituency of Honorable Seri Kenya. It was in Chicago much in the Sawa Gulf. So one random day in September 2018, Dr. Mujimo committed suicide. He left a suicide note that said he had committed suicide because of the stealing of his property by Ugandan police and everything that he had gone through. Now, the story of Dr. Mujimo, I believe, is a story that many of our comrades in the diaspora find relatable. You, our comrades, are patriotic, you are hardworking, and you love your country. But you left Uganda because Uganda has stopped protecting and working for you. There is so much you can contribute to our country's development, but remain underutilized, remain neglected by a regime that now sees you as enemies instead of seeing you as citizens with full and equal rights. You are abused and sometimes killed at work, but Uganda never intervenes for you. You can't renew your passports or get national IDs without hassle. You face an endless bureaucracy when you try to invest back home. You cannot protect your property in Uganda because you're so far away. You are homesick. You miss your families. You miss your friends. You miss your relatives. You miss that smell of the soil when you've just had a downpour, when you've just had rain. Some of you are on expired visas, especially in the Arab countries, but you cannot return home because, first of all, you can't afford the air ticket, and you also cannot afford the fines. You are doing jobs that you hate to death, but you continue doing them anyway because your life depends on them. You are enduring all this suffering because of poor leaders, but you cannot vote them out because you are too far away from Uganda. So you are basically excluded from the politics, from the life, from the that pain in the following terms. Number one, we shall ensure that you can vote in Uganda's elections no matter where you might be in the world. We shall remove all unnecessary limits to you acquiring dual citizenship. Number three, we shall grant automatic citizenship to any child under 18 years that's born to Ugandan parents in the diaspora. Our embassies shall process your passports and national IDs within 7 days of you applying for them. We shall facilitate the elderly, the distressed Ugandans abroad to return home. We shall also assist them to readjust life in Uganda and settle in like they never left. We shall organize and fund annual culture trips for Ugandan children born in the diaspora to learn more about their culture and languages. We shall introduce what is called diaspora bonds, through which you are comrades in the diaspora who are able and willing shall lend money to the government with the guarantee that you get it back with a fat interest. We shall run a digital investment center through which you will be able to register businesses, buy property, make other investments in Uganda right from your mobile phone. We shall operate a secure and digital land registry system and amend our land laws to make sure that you can buy, sell, or enforce your rights in land without stepping in Uganda. As for our skilled professionals, we shall facilitate your temporary permanent return home and reserve for you employment opportunities in our public service. For Ugandans suffering in Arab countries, we shall have free embassy services to fight in your corner. In other words, we shall grant the diaspora, number one, your full political rights. Number two, the economic instruments you need to thrive. Number three, the legal protections you need to be safe and keep what you earn. Number four, we shall grant you a seat at the policy table deciding Uganda's future. I have read from cover to cover the manifestos of the two strongest opponents to our presidential candidate. This is exactly what those manifestos promise you, our comrades in the diaspora. These are the promises they make to you. So to back up our plan for the diaspora, as part of our foreign policy, this is what we intend to do. Number one, we are going to withdraw all non-career diplomats from our embassies and replace them with competent professionals. Number two, we are going to renegotiate international agreements, prioritize the interests of Ugandans, while at the same time ensuring that visas may still remain beneficial to our neighbors and to the international community. In short, we are going to turn Uganda into a country that works for all Ugandans and shows up for them no matter where they might be on this planet. We shall build a new Uganda where we will never again be raped, tortured, dehumanized, and forced into exile just because we hold a contrary political opinion. That Uganda comment is very possible. When I visited Dubai in 2022 and I saw the transformation that desert had gone through, I concluded, me as a person, that any country can transform itself if it decides. All it needs are leaders who are intentional and have the will to do what's right, no matter the cost. To transform Uganda, we just need political will. We don't need magic, we don't need miracles. And that political will now has a face. It has a name, and it has a heartbeat in the man sitting right there. He knows what it means to rise from nothing and achieve everything. But he also knows what it means to risk everything, fighting in the hope that if he remains in that fight long enough, tomorrow will be a better day for everyone. So let us take a bet on this Moses of our time, the man who laid himself from the struggles, from the trenches, from the ghettos of Kamacha, and turned himself into a global success story. Let us take a bet on President Chagulani and see if he won't lead our country into the mecca of freedom and opportunity that we all yearn for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councillor Marvin. That was very clear. Some of you are wondering, he told he has read other parties' manifestos. When he put up a piece of paper, you saw nothing. In case you're wondering, he's just saying that other parties have nothing for you who stay in the diaspora. Thank you so much, Councillor Marvin, once again. We only have 2 people left, and perhaps these are the very important points we need to listen to. We were deliberate when we saved the best for the last. So we are going to have Miss Natalie Maria, the Oscar. Some of you know Lowanda Whiskey, but it's a bit different. You just have to take it a little. Who is also a NEC member and one of our finest leaders from Eastern Uganda. Allow me to come here to present about the environment.
Thank you very much, Comrade Lawel. People power! Our power! People power! NUP! Everywhere! Kunga Uganda Kunga! I am by the name is Maria with the course card Natabi Pascal Kabutembe Okuvambi Kadoye Butembe. Era omubaka agenda bendera ya Nup Butembe mu Jinja district. Nendo kutwala omukisa guno okwebaza Mr. President n'okwisusaayo ebisoga weebale irala kutulaga mukwano wasookera eka gye bakuzaala ebidaadaabwo ebisoga weebale eno dada. Today I'll be addressing priority area number 10, which talks about ensuring sustainable management of natural resources and climate resilience. Mwidi bulungi nti tuli bakayiganga ewanga Uganda era President ayinga abakobera nti ebyobutonde ebyobugayiga bye tulina bingi nno abuno obukulembeze bwe tulina n'obutali kubikozesa kimala kutuyigayigawaza ife abanansi. And that is where the problem is. Our problem is leadership. Our problem are not resources, because we are endowed in all ways. However, we also have a challenge of climate change. Climate change has affected our natural resources in various ways. I understand climate change is a global challenge. However, there are things leaders are doing to ensure that this climate change does not affect their people as badly as it is affecting us. Mwana mwidintenda kudino tosobola ku planningira bya bulimi ng'osinziira ku maadi agali kutonda ag'obwerere Katonda g'abanga atuwaire. Olina okuteekateeka mu ngeri ey'enjawulo. Aye gavumenti ebiteviireeyo kutuwa bukugu obwo kuteekateeka bya bulimi byaife. N'ensonga lwaki ennaku zino endala nningi. People do not have food because of the food insecurity caused by the climate change okukyusa amaadi engeri gye gali kutondamu ate ng'awo tuli kusinziira. You also know climate change is affecting our natural resources and land use, especially during the wetlands. You've seen how landslides have also affected our people, especially in the mountainous areas. And you know very well how climate change has also led to the degradation of our biggest resource, which are the fertile soils. You also know that climate change does not only affect our social well-being, or does not only affect the environmental well-being of our country, but it affects our infrastructure development. Mubutambula muboina kunga amaadi gagwire wano e Kampala mu kibuga kyammwe kyamwete ekibuga. Amaadi bwe gagwa gasibira wa mu nguudo mu butale era na ssente gamu wa musolo bebizimbye. Therefore it is also taking us back. Awatono tutayire ssente okukolako ebitonotono byetulikusasulira mu ssente d'omu wa musolo era amaadi gali kwongera okukola ki okubyonoona. Bw'olingirira n'ensansanya ya ssente gy'omuwi w'omusolo ebikweyongera olwa climate change. Nti ssaawa yonayona mwidda kubona di supplementary budget diri kwidda mu palamenti olw'okuba waliwo disaster. Weebuuza tuli mu iwanga ki gavumenti eno etasobola kutyama ya planningira bulungi eiwanga lino omwaka mulamba. Tukoba inti landslide iwe nga government gwetuwe ssente eningi okulingirira ebintu by'embere. You cannot forecast and mitigate such challenges and even include them in our budget. The problem of our country is not because we are under-resourced. The problem of this country is poor and bad leadership. And that is what the National Unity Platform is offering you through His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. And asking an agile leader, ajokwekenenya ensonga dino ate adilingirire wala nga tukisobola tutwenda supplementary budget abula nga tubiplaningira mu bwire ebintu ebinaba bigwirewo. Ebyo tujja bikola tutya? Tujja kunoonekereza tutegeere buli climate change weerigema okusobola okuboneka nga tutegeera gavumenti kyerina okolawo nga kikaali kukola ki nga kikaali kubaawo. Era nga n'ekintu ekintu kye tujja okola kye tweta climate adaptation and mitigation mechanisms eby'enjawulo era liri mu manifesto yaife enennungi imwe abaire bakaali gisoma tulikoba tutya. How are we going to adapt and mitigate the climate challenges we are facing? Ekisookera irala, we are going to strengthen international climate financing and partnership. Nga bwe nakomye ekizibu kya climate change kiri global. Aye tutairewo mbeera ki nti tusobola okukola n'abantu ab'amawanga agandi. Amawanga agandi galekera okutuwa essente olw'obugubuzi obuswise. Aye tunalaga nti essente d'abantu tudadikozesa bulungi. Ndibakoba nti mu climate change abantu baidda kukwatananinga n'ife tusobole okuboneka nga tukola ku bizibu ebiri kutuleeterwaku climate change. Ensonga ey'okubiri n'ensonga ey'oku adaptinga climate responsive budgeting framework. eyo nekola etya kyembakobye nti twetaaga abakulembeze n'obukugu obujja okusoma embeera ng'ekaali kubaawo. Bwe tusoma embeera eyo ng'ekaali kubaawo twaba ni pulaani ekendeeza ku mbeera eyo etya bw'ejja okugwa ku bantu, era twasobola n'okwinongola abantu ssente zaabwe we tuli kujja nga tubali kudigugulamu gugule. Ensonga eyokusatu ni climate adaptation fund, ssente ezijja okuyamba omuntu wa bulijjo okusobola okwenganga enembeera eya climate change oba amaadhi gano agali kugwa amangi, entobazi ge bali floods eziri kuwamba n'endala eri kwidde olwa climate change, era nga omwo tujja kubaamu n'essente ezijja okuyambaku okwakisesinga amaadhi. Imwe abalimi lwaki odaaga okulinda amaadhi Katonda gw'otayogere naye nti kukuwa amaadhi ekyo ogalinde nga tigajja kuyida, nga mulina president wa His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, I think mulina enanda Victoria, mulina enanda Kyoga, mulina omwiga Nairo omusobola okuva amaadhi agajja okukola ki okusikirira ebirime byaibwe n'ebintu bingi. Ayo olwobwire kambireka aye mujje musome, please go and read this manifesto. Buli bwegisoma oba n'amaanyi g'erina gendi kwogeza ku muzindaago kuba obona Uganda empya. Ensonga eyindi twenda okutaawo emirimu gye tweta green jobs ni climate smart enterprises, nga bino tujja kusinziira mu bintu nga renewable energies. Obusibu climate change eno bwe buli kuvanga n'okuba nga tuli kukozesa bubi obutonde bwaife. Bane emiti tugimazeewo gyonna tuli kujja mu manda. Aye president waife yatukomye bw'anaafuuka president ati amasannyalaze gajja kuba ga 5, ojja kuba weetaaga kyokufa okugula amanda gajja kuba gakuyamba ki ng'amasannyalaze ga 5 ojja kufumbiranga kuki ku masannyalaze. Aye ate waliwo n'ebintu etwetanga solar energy, akasana kano katwokyera bwereere nga tetuli kukakozesa kutoolamu maanyi gajja kutuyamba kufumba nakumulisa mayumba gaife. Lwaki tufulamu nzikizanga ebisana tuba n'akasana akanja oti ni kano. Ensonga eyindi mbaye mu kizinti ekalamoja awazira amasannyalaze wali yempewo tetusobola okufuula amasannyalaze. Mubale timukindi kuba gavumenti eno yabawudiisa yabalimba but I'm just saying, the people of Karamoja, the President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and his government is going to turn the wind that disturbs you into electricity to light your houses and give you
I can't wait. That said, allow me to welcome the last person, Miss Precious. She's going to talk about technology. Uganda India, and Zakari Magazine. Allow me to Miss Precious, the last person, to talk about a tech-driven economy. Thank you.
People power. Our power.
People power.
I know you're a little bit tired, but bear with me. People power.
People power.
MEP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. That's the energy we need to enter the new Uganda. Otherwise, we are stuck. So, I'm not a good speaker, and I have the challenge that I'm going to speak up for someone with a lot of energy. So I hope I can pick up. So, abantu banje bambalira mwasiga mutabasewo nabanyabo nanakirina bayida wenkugira ngu ndihonyeka konka nkirefuka turiho bingi. People power, our power. So I'm a true Ugandan. You're going to wonder why my name is Nalinya kuba ni mutala Mumbejja nengenda kwogera Olunyankole. Nze Nalinya Precious Julian n'ate ngenda kwogera mu Lunyankole ebintu ebisinga kubanga nze ndi Munnayuganda omutuufu. Kitegeeza ki? Nti mulekeraawo okutwawulayawula ffe tuli Bannayuganda. Nkimanyisa nti tuli Abanyayuganda. Mwakiteri ekyo? So today ninza kuba ningamba priority 11 eya technology. Nikimanya hatulina abaana bingi abakozesa omutimbagano. Do you have TikTokers around? All of us. And I'm sure all of you are holding your phones. So this government understands that we are in the 21st century and understands that we are a young generation. So Ugandans cannot afford to be left behind in this technology era. Ekyo kimanyisa ki gavumenti yakyagulanye tekusa kusiga muntu wenenyuma nekibamu tulina okukozesa technology, so ekiri priority y'amaanyi on technology. Priority 11 is transforming Uganda into a tech-driven economy through technology and innovation. Why is this priority important? According to the International Conference on Trade and Development, trade lowers costs, creates jobs, expands markets. Yet 30% of Africa in digital trade compared to 50% in Asia. Uganda's ICT only accounted for 0.5% of the annual of the total annual exports. Also, our internet costs about $2.6 per gigabyte, and it is the highest in the region. When we compare with other regions around us, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, our internet is the most expensive. What does this mean? It means we are not lacking potential. It means we are just limited by high internet costs, limited digital literacy, and weak policy frameworks for which, if we are to compete regionally and globally, these issues must be addressed. And the Nup government understood the assignment. 1. We are going to talk about digital infrastructure and connectivity. The Nup government will halve the cost of internet within 5 years by reducing data taxes, investing in regional internet, and will expand affordable broadband internet to every sub-region, prioritizing schools, healthcare, and trading centers so that no community is left behind. Ekyo kimanyisa ki Nup eryo nekira tulalonde president we tulateke government ensya omuyinza nkimanyisa nibakucendeeza omumyaka ekane kubanza nibakucendeeza internet by half. Nkimanyisa wano ogula data yawe wano ogigula aha shilingi 5 n'okutandika kugigula aha shilingi 25. Nikyo kikumanyisa. Education and skill development. To build a digital country, we must build a digital citizen. Nkimanyisa ki wano oyenda kukozesa technology olina okwegesa abantu okuba bagikozesa. Nup government yatugira ngu nekukwata buli shomero nebyewikulya akwerukayo mbarira nibakubateerayo computer labs. Tutukuza kwetagisa kuruga mbarira kwisha kunu kweka kubibira amashomero unwegesa computer. No. Nup government is saying you are going to have good equipped computer laboratories in your regions. Let's talk about health. The Nup government will transform healthcare delivery. It will roll out a national e-health system that includes electronic recording, telemedicine services, digital drug tracking to improve efficiency and access. Health workers will be trained in digital diagnostics and patients management, while data analytics will be used for epidemic preparedness, disease surveillance, targeted interventions, and this will ensure that quality health care reaches every corner. Ekimanyisa ng'obwire wargo wanyu mbwarga owanyu bushenyi wisha Kampala nupe nyumetira mtoza kwenye kutambula na basa z'empapurezi no nekola system wisha n'obwire bwawe nogamba amazina gawe notayo ID yawe nubamanya obwire obukushasha kandi ko mwana kuyakira ngobizigo bite government ebye kureta aha obekwisha mwana bamanya ko kabekoze kabatakumanya. So we are saying this data will help us to prepare and know abantu bambara babire munongo mshusha tubakorrect just okwebuzabuza wabatakutumanya. Agriculture. Of course, we all understand that agriculture remains the backbone of Uganda's economy, and technology can make it smarter and more productive. It will create national digital agriculture platform that provides farmers with real-time weather updates, market prices, and extension services. The previous speaker talked about the uncertainty of weather, that we can't tell when it's going to rain or when it's not going to rain. But the Nup government is saying, no, our dear farmers, with technology, we can tell you when it's going to rain, when it's going to shine, and we can actually tell you that you can take your things in a certain market. Nchimanyisa, mutakuza kuila mshana kwaka, oveshira kugwa, for you to plant. No, niwakuhereza service asumi yawe kugambira nomanya amateka yawe no gatwara mukatari kanaka ekintu zakuza hari so they are going to make our lives easy. Then governance and public service, digital transformation also must reach the government itself. We will digitalize key public services, including licenses, land titles, taxes, health records, improve efficiency and accountability. And of course, we will have an e-procurement system that will be introduced to curb corruption and save public funds. Muchimanya ababiba Uganda babira nnyo kino. Nogenda okufuna ID ne bakusaba sente empitirivu, nogenda okunoonya land title yo nga tomanyi weeri. So Nup government is saying, no, we're going to put these things very much available to you and near to you through technology. Ng'omuntu tateekeddwa kujjako onguzi okumanya details z'ekibanja kyo oba land title yo woweeri. Then we talk about economy and innovation to expand digital access. We will cut taxes on smartphones, computers, internet devices. Of course, there will no promises to fund small startups in agribusiness. Of course, this is important for those who are worried that they are removing. I heard rumors on internet. You know, I'm so good at internet, and I'm always there. For those who know me, there was a rumor saying, Nup wants to scrap off. What is this thing? Is hawking these days. PDM, yes. And so don't get worried. And then Nup is saying we are going to create a fund for agribusinesses, for the youth who have small businesses to start up, not to give money to some random person who eats the money and then random people are paraded as though they were funded. Last but not least, of course, as we talk about digitalization, it is important to talk about the national security and digital rights. The Nup government promises to expand digital opportunities. We will also make sure digital safety. Nup will strengthen cybersecurity capacities to combat fraud, hacking, online crimes, and of course teach enforcement and judiciary. Enforcement and the judiciary will be trained to handle crimes cases effectively. We also run public campaigns and data protection because we know recently there was a saga, an investigation that was conducted by BBC about human trafficking And this criminal had access to our data, and everyone kept asking the same question: how did this criminal have access to our NIRA data? Because he gets all the information from NIRA. And of course, as usual, this question was never answered. But the Nup government is saying, we are going to protect your data, we are going to protect you from hackers, we are going to protect you from online harassment and anything in between. How will this be done? They intend How will this be done? Of course, they don't want to silence dissent, but they want to ensure space remains free and safe and productive. Because this is important. We know the young Ugandans are earning off the internet, but somehow the dictator, who is, of course, not the 21st century leader, is stuck in the 18th. I don't know if this is the 16th. Thinks that it is okay to take off Facebook, which was feeding people are connecting, and of course we live in a global village, so this is very important that we connect. So in conclusion, a tech-driven Uganda is not just a dream, it is a deliberate and achievable voice. A Uganda where a farmer can check prices on their phone, a patient consults a doctor online, a student learns coding in their rural areas, and a person earns global income in their village. Under the new Uganda now, technology will not just be a tool, but it will be an engine, transformation, opportunity, prosperity, and together let us push Uganda into the digital future. People power, our power. Thank you so much for listening to me. Abantu bambara mayecho kukora abantu bantungamo Western people omurimo twine gumwe gonka. For so many years nbagira ngwito turije konka ina churches turukubi. So turijire twajya turukubi president nito turi nyuma yawe.
Thank you so much. Precious, I think we have to elaborate. Maybe what you need to take home from what you have said is that the cost of internet is going to be low, which means whoever kubera ku TikTok kulina kwewola sente olabe ku manifesto and package gye tubaddeko wano kuba internet mwaka kaseera egenda kubanga osobola si a bay. And I think what I want to add is that one of the controversial things that have come from that manifesto point is that we shall deliver medicine where you are. And often these things seem ambitious, but when you just cross to Rwanda, we have programs where drones can deliver medicine. You don't have to go through traffic to access that medicine. I think what you're also saying is that if we can expand internet connectivity, because once you step out of Kampala and go to neighboring districts, what we shall internet. But if we can do that, it means that we give you an opportunity to innovate and to do all these other things. But also I think there's a lot of willingness that people want to invest in young tech ideas. If we can pacify this country, make internet easy, a lot of investment will come in. So we have come to the end of the presentation on the priority areas. I will ask each of us to clap for our able panel. If anyone tells you that they have not understood the NUP manifesto, either they were not paying attention today or they don't want to read. And like the lawyers always say, ignorance is not a replacement of absence of facts, or ignorance is not defense. So anyone who says that they don't believe that a new Uganda will fundamentally change this country will be lying. And they're not talking about fundamental failure. There are people who have used that word and it no longer makes sense. The only evidence we have is that people now think things can't change fundamentally. But we have guaranteed you today and we have showed you what is in it for you. So before we have an artist, I will ask each of us to humble ourselves. We have colleagues who have been in prison. We know them now as political prisoners. One of them wrote a letter to us, and he said we need to pass on his communication. So I will ask each of us to pay attention and listen to what he has to say. He's called Muyodi Hamidu. On 2nd October 2025, he wrote this letter, and this is what he says. Greetings all Ugandan masses, foot soldiers. I write this from Luzira Upper Prison. He says, we take this opportunity to send our message, all foot soldiers across the country. First of all, we thank our President, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Robert Ssentamu Bobi Wine, for always standing with us in all situations. In all situations we go through, and we do thank all our leaders who visit us in prisons. We kindly thank those who help our families and always attend our court trials. We really appreciate you for the courage that you give us. A message to all foot soldiers. We are in prison, but we have no hope that we can join you in person. We do move in. We have our hope in you. We respect you, brothers and sisters. We are praying for you in this campaign struggle. We are updated in all campaign areas that we go through, and our flag bearers of national unity from across the country. We request you to please do whatever you can to bring justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity in Uganda. As we continue with this restarted, re-empowered, and charged struggle for a new and a better Uganda, we join Mr. President, His Excellency Bobi Wine, by reminding you always remain focused, be sober, protect each other from a dictator, and let Ugandans be mindful of brothers and sisters who lost their lives in this struggle. Think of us who are in prison. Think of those who are still missing and are in exile. Because of this struggle, please don't give up to fight against the dictator and his government. We remind you that we are struggling for freedom, against dictatorship, against poverty, unemployment, injustice, corruption, and embezzlement. Hence, restoring a new Uganda. Let's avoid bribes, gifts, and obstruction from our enemies. Please, love each other and stop using your fellow comrades for individual gains to our enemies. Please be strong to fight the autocratic government. We are smelling change, but the change can only come from working hard. And we can't change the past, but we can change the future. So let's work hard in the campaigns. We wish you a blessed journey in these campaigns. Remember that every word in this campaign means war. May Allah give you courage and strength to overthrow the autocratic government. May Allah give you the gift of knowledge and make the best decision for this country, Uganda. And he says, people power, people power, let's fight for a new Uganda. He shares this message to everyone, and please translate it in different languages countrywide. He says he thanks you, Muyod Hamidu, political prisoner from Luzira Upper Prison. Muyod speaks for all the people that have been in prison for just sticking to their conscience and failing to give in to this government which seeks to deprive them of a conscience which is supposed to be a God-given right that they can exercise. Having said that, I'm going to welcome an artist who of us have known. His name is C-Wine Nalukalala.
NUP only put on what this is C-Wine Nalukalala. I'll be massive. Come, sing it with me. Rastafari. Sing, let's go. One. No matter what it's a new nation, no give up. No matter what it's a new nation. No matter what kind of tension. No matter when you get on detention. No matter what it's a new nation. No matter what the situation. No matter what kind of tension. Well, no matter when you get on detention. Every man starts from one. Just to make it up to be number one. Hey, then start from zero. When you see them feel zero, you cannot say that I'm not gonna make it up. Pressure me and tell me that me up in a shit up. Revo. NUP. Everywhere. People power. Our power. You know you saw what the Tina and Dalababa. Mukama wange. Okulembere lutabalo luno tetuina sawa ndala. Yeno yokka mukama wange. Yeno yokka sebo. Yo kakakayima kamwe abavubuka bakayita muvubuka oli bubi. You see me? Aha. Rhythm selector David. Aha. So listen to me carefully. All the youths. Muvubuka oli bubi kakule byokola la moli mubi. Abakusi abakusinga ko masala yero balaba bubi kakatira kakulimba limba toli bubi nayo li bubi mufubuko li bubi kakule nyokola boli bubi abakusinga ko masala yero balaba bubi kakatira kakulimba limba toli bubi you know bad but you bad mind kumina bigeto amasma bad kumize chokatira jikowa you cannot see the way wakola gweba bichawa utakomye bisacha amasma bantu bakukwata kulawa sentaimo bakuti kotabula bantu atelo sala abantu kutulugunya abantu atelo nagulula abantu chikusa abantu abatali na musango matu tubola bakusomera mu lwatu ukuluko libubi kakule nyokola boli bubi abakusinga ko basala yelo balaba bubi kakatira kakulimba limba toli mubi nayo li bubi ukuluko libubi kakule nyokola boli bubi abakusinga ko basala yelo balaba kakatira kakulimba limba toli mubi. Listen to me again. Dongena diketo amasma bantu ngamize chokatira jikowa you cannot see the way wakola gweba tawa utakomye misacha amasma bantu bakukwata kulawa sentaimo bakuchawa kotabula bantu atelo sala abantu batulugunya abantu atelo nagulula abantu chikusa abantu abatali na musango matu tubola bakusomela level NUP everywhere. Tetulina sawa ngala chenyizo bagamba. Tetulina chi? Eno ye sawa omusajja bugenda baba.
Ebale nnyo nalokalala eno ye sawa. Maybe what I want to say is that in the National Unity Platform, we are very spiritual as well. We believe in God, we believe in Allah, and He's the one who has brought us this far, and He's going to be with us in the new Uganda. Allow me welcome, I like her so much, allow me welcome Honorable Namboze to give us a scripture. Listen to our president. Thank you.
People power, our power. Everybody knows civil president. Omusajja katabungiye wennaku ezo mukama wange naye nga bw'omanyi sitatafa okujjako nga firimu egenda kuggwa. Mukama wange president, tiimu gyendi wano nebaziza Katonda. Ndabye abaana wano abateeka ensonga mu ddiiro ate ng'olaba bazitegeera. Pulezidenti nenkusanyukirako nnyo n'eri bannayuganda nemmanya nti ttiimu ey'okukola omulimu weeri. Yesu Kristo naye bwe yajja mu nsi muno n'asuubiza ensi empya. Kati bwe yasuubiza ensi empya nabali ne bagyesunga. Olunaku lumu gamba munnakulinaanye nti olunaku lumu Yesu yali atuddeawo ng'ava babuulira ebigambo ebikulu ebirungi ebinaabeera mu nsi ki empya. Ate engeri Yesu ye gye yagenda awo osobola otunuulirawo Kyagulanyi nga bamaze obbatabbira ebigambo ebingi bwe bityo nga byonna bya nsi ki Bayibuli egamba bweti. Nsomye mu Matayo essula 24 okutandikira ku lunyiriri olwokusatu. Yesu bwe yali ng'atudde ku lusozi lw'emiti emizayituuni, abayigirizwa ne bajja wali mu kyama ne bagamba nti tubuulire ebyo biribaawo ddi era kabonero kyakalaga okujja kw'ensi eyo. Yesu n'addamu nti mwerinde waleme kubaawo bababuzaabuza, kubanga bangi balijja nga bayita nga beeyita nti Yesu naye baliba bababuzaabuza. Muliwulira entalo wano na wali, mwerinde kweraliikirira. Ebyo biteekwa okubaawo naye ekiseera kiriba kitandika butandisi. eggwanga erimu lirumba eggwanga eddala n'obwakabaka bulirumba obwakabaka walibaawo enjala n'okukankana kw'ensi mu bitundu bingi naye olwo okubonaabona kuliba kutandika butandisi mmwe bali bakwata ne bababaayo ne mubonyaabonyezebwa era n'abamu ku mmwe mulittibwa abantu bonna balikyawa mmwe olw'okuba muli bagoberezi b'oyo olwo bangi ne baliterebuka walibaawo n'ababalyamu enkwe era bali bakyawaganya n'abalanzi ab'obulimba balirabika ne baba babuzaabuza olw'obujeemu okuyinga obungi okwagala kw'abamu kuliwola naye oyo aligumira ebizibu okutuusa ku nkomerero yalirokolebwa era amawulire amalungi agafa ku bwakabaka galitegeezebwa abantu mu nsi yonna okuba obujulirwa eri amawanga gonna olwo ensi eyo n'eryoka etuuka. Mukama yeebaze.
Eyo prayer kyetulaze nti obubonero bwonna weebuli. Ekibuuzo kiri nti tuliredde twetegese. At this point in time, allow me welcome, and I may not get this opportunity when the government starts. But before we welcome the president, let us have another artist to set the stage for the ultimate president of this country. Thank you.
muli basanyufu.
People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. Uganda wange.
Abasinga nsubira kapisokana. Abasinga muteganyo tulaba negayo. Wambuze ekibuuzo. Muddamu Kyagulanyi.
Oba tukakolemuko. Tukakolemu omukulembeze waffe bange mulungi okusembayo. Kakati tubozizeba. Juzi president wa America yali ali kulaale.
Kyagulanyi yabadde kulaliza Uganda. Era yaliko.
Anti bya America.
Kakati America nze ndi mu America. Tuli wano mu Uganda. Yes.
Thank you so much. I want to tell you guys that where we have come from as a country is very bad. We have all suffered. We all have the robots that Sasi was talking about. We all have siblings who can't find jobs. We all have friends who have been arrested for the last 5 years for just speaking the truth. But the good news is this is all coming to an end under the new government, under the leadership of His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi. Allow me to take this opportunity therefore invite our able President, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi, address us. Thank you.
People power. Our power. NUP. And everywhere. Even here. Thank you very much. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. I salute you, ladies and gentlemen, and please bear with us. I know that this function has taken a little longer. Njagala okwebaza Musumba Namboze olw'ekyawandikibwa kyatuwadde. Mwalabenda ab'emikono musibe mutanno. Thank you very much for that word. I want to salute my fellow artists, Figo and your friend. I want to salute another revolutionary artist, Siwai Narukalala. Man, you're bad. Many times I feel glad to share the wine name with you. Very talented young man. You remind me of Buju Banton. You remind me of Bob Marley. You remind me of Sizzla Kalonji. You remind me of Capleton. All those artists that many of us grew up watching and aspiring to be like, believed in one common thing: equal rights and justice. They believed in freedom for all people, especially the black people, the African people. So, if you see a Rasta man posing around with dreadlocks but not believing in equal rights and justice, that is not Rasta, that is rascalat. So I salute you, my brother. Webale nakubulirira abavubuka. Kikulu nnyo abavubuka omuntu ababulirira ne bawulira yoyo omuvubuka ngabbo yoyo ayise waje bayise. Webale bajjukiza nti okubeera omuntu omubi tekikufuula wakabi. Me like you put it straight that bad man and bad man is two different things. Can't mix and mingle the two of them. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. I also want to appreciate the drama team from the School of Leadership for the skit that you presented here. Thank you very much. In this our struggle, music, dance, and drama will always carry a center stage. It has been music, dance, and drama, creativity, and poetry. It's been art that has liberated people right from the days of slavery, through colonialism, through dictatorship. And it's what's going to carry us through. So we salute that area. We salute you, Comrade Nobiandi. Selector Devi, namwe abakwataganya area eyo mwebale nnyo mwebalire ddala. I also want to sympathize with Dr. Nalukwago. Dr. Nalukwago, we listen to you. Tukusazira nga balaba n'ennumba. Dr. Nalukwago abadde atubulira nti ennumba zaamulumira mu ddwaliro ery'omu kyalo ng'agenze mu toileti. Walaba nnyo munnaye nzimanya ennumba nze zaali zinumyeko, nze zannumira nno ku muti gwa muyembe, zannuma ku liiso ne mala wiiki namba nga linnuma. Naye kati ggwe nkubamu akafaananyi oba zaakulumyewa. Naye tukusabira munnange wadde zaakulumye before oba after. N'ebyo tubiveeko, tuli mu nsonga zibe serious leero. I want to salute the comrades that have presented today. Comrade Awel, the young man, the intelligent young man that you are, and the way you present it gives me hope, gives me confidence that the young people of this generation are actually seeing through the curtain that has been put before our eyes. They're seeing the future. They're seeing the promised land. They're seeing the new Uganda. I want to appreciate the policy team that has been able to clearly paint a picture for us. Very eloquent young men and women, very passionate young men and women, very imaginative young men and women. At least we are able to see the Uganda we want, the Uganda we're aspiring for, and indeed the Uganda that we must achieve. I have no doubt that the picture, ladies and gentlemen, these are not my ideas and an individual. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not my ideas and an individual. No, these are ideas of numerous young men and women. These are ideas of the young generation, young Ugandans from across Uganda. Look at them, from the north to the west, to the east, to the south and central. This is Uganda summarized. These ideas and ideas, they represent all of us. They represent both our pain and our aspiration. They represent the aspirations of a new generation. These thoughts and presentations, ladies and gentlemen, they represent a generation that refuses to be defined by the fear and the hate and the hopelessness that has been imposed on us. I believe that we can't go past. Very much, my brothers and sisters, for making it clear that we have a future that is tangible, a future that we see, a future that we are going to achieve. And I also want to add my voice on yours in the affirmative that we are indeed going to build a new country for ourselves and our children. We are going to build that country for ourselves, by ourselves. I might be the one leading, and I've told you this before, that I don't present myself to lead this struggle, this charge for a new Uganda, because I'm the most educated or most qualified. I present myself because it is a calling, just like every one of you. But nothing gives me confidence to see that behind me there's quality. Behind me, there are young men and women. Each one of them is very qualified, very knowledgeable, well-traveled, passionate about a new Uganda. We have young doctors here, we have young lawyers here, we have journalists, we have people from all walks of life. And yes, we have people like myself and Nubiani who are artists. We have people like Eddie Mutwe. We have people like Zambari. Zambari of Mukono. So it is possible, ladies and gentlemen. I have no doubt that it's possible. But I was moved even deeper by the presentation of Maria Lebechowska-Natali, who put it clearly that these are just dreams. Brothers and sisters, these are but just dreams. This is but just an imagination, a dream that we can either achieve
but also can fail to achieve. This is a dream that we can get, but this is a dream that we can also fail to achieve and keep dreaming about it if we don't take the necessary steps. Over a few years ago, I've learned that in life you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate for. In fact, you get what you fight for, not what you deserve. But brothers and sisters, again, I want to tell you that what we deserve, what you deserve, is worth fighting for. Yes, it does. What do we have to do then? Let's do the necessary. Step number one, start by magnifying this, by amplifying this. I like that this has been presented precisely but clearly. It's right here. This is what we want to bring to Uganda. When we say Museveni agende kubalemezaawo bino. What you have to do as a citizen is to help further paint this picture to all and sundry. Anybody that you get close to, let them understand that we are past the mobilization area. We are in the sensitization and making sure that everybody gets us clearly. Understand what we are fighting for. Understand what we are risking for. Explain it to your friends, to your family, to your boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband. Explain it to your friends. Explain it whenever you have an opportunity. To you, our leaders, especially those that are running to office. And I like that the skit made it very clear. Don't promise people rice, because we are not going to give rice in the new Uganda. Promise what we are going to give as a government. In the new government, you're going to be serving under the National Unity Platform. And this that I'm promising, small group, might be the one that will develop the idea that will liberate us. So work together, build together, and let us do it, because I know we are going to do it. This, ladies and gentlemen, many people hear us. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We are going into a risky time, but we can choose to see it from two different perspectives. From one side, you can look at it as a risk. And from the other side, you can choose to look at it as an opportunity. So, let's make the brave choices. Like I said, they hear us singing, when the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. What is that victor's crown? That is the one. What they just explained here, the first 11 and more will come when the struggle is over, when we defeat General Museveni and his corrupt regime. So, ladies and gentlemen, in that new Uganda, make it clear to the people what they are voting for. They are not voting for Kyagulanyi, the individual. They are voting Kyagulanyi, who represents that. They are not voting for NUP, the political party. They are voting for NUP, which represents that. That is exactly what they are voting for. Anybody that is taking the umbrella, that is what you are voting for. Anybody that is risking, that is what you're risking. Anybody that is fighting, that is exactly what you're fighting for. You're not fighting for money to be put in your pocket. You're fighting for a better country. Gladly, in that country, we look at you as leaders. So when you're going to prison, our brothers that are in prison, and many of us that might go to prison, that is what we are going to prison for. For those that will be tortured, even those that will be killed, that is what we are dying for. And I have good news, my brothers and sisters. Whether you are fighting, that is worth fighting for. Whether you're going to prison, it is worth going to prison for. Even dying, this is worth dying for, because we are doing this for our children and our children's children. We are doing it because the alternative is slavery. And me as an individual, and I believe all of you, or most of you, would rather die than be slaves on the land of your forefathers and foremothers. I can guarantee you that at the end of this, your children will be in charge of their country. They will be able to paint their own destiny. These young men and women, and all those among you, this is a young Uganda. It's a new Uganda, a young Uganda, a brilliant Uganda, a progressive Uganda, a successful Uganda. A Uganda that is not a laughing stock among nations. That is a Uganda that we are going to get, ladies and gentlemen. I want to appreciate those that are already involved, especially those that we are moving with on the campaign trail, and those that are moving, those that are working on social media, those in the diaspora that save their working hours to work for Uganda, to send a message for Uganda. You're doing a tremendous job. We really, really appreciate you. I want to appreciate our comrades, especially the foot soldiers, for the discipline. Please clap for yourself. The discipline that you're exercising on your, and the discipline that you're exercising on the road. Many times I look behind and I feel so proud of the team that we're working for. So disciplined on the road, so kind to the people that come to us, so protective of those that come to support us, the vulnerable people, the women and children. Thank you very, very much. Once more, I want to again request you to look out for our people. Like I said, on this trail you won't be protecting me, but each other and those that come to support us. Please continue protecting them. We have not seen many cases of thugs stealing